after that email, I'd want to, maybe do on the subject line, a couple of stars and then an alert, alert, capital letters, what you need to know about your pre-approval, or pre-approval alert. Did you know?
Are you really pre-approved? Question mark.
Something, you don't want it too long because you lose them, but certainly I would kind of do an alert. Did you know? I approval. My son and I just sold one of our listings conditionally. And this is the perfect scenario. I mean, my lady is a senior and everything is a struggle, even to explain things to her. So it takes a lot of time, to get this deal. And now we're talking about closing date, and the other agent who brought the offer, she's a brand new realtor, and I was really impressed with her. She's only been licensed for 2 months. And she said, I can't extend the closing much more than a week because my buyer's pre-approval is up by December 12th, right? These are things that I believe most realtors don't really understand until we talk about it. B, I'm not even sure a lot of the people that get pre-approvals with rate hold guarantees understand. So we've got another increase as well, from what I understand. So coming up, I think I heard it was towards the end of the month. So whatever buyers you have, always redirect them back to their mortgage person whenever you get that next rate increase. It is sometimes very impossible to have them buy and close within the rate hold guarantee. Let's be realistic. So we have to push them back to the mortgage person.
And understanding what that actually means. For some, it could be they can't close, right? Or they need to throw down into additional funds that they need to get from somewhere.
And the whole thing is, and this really falls on us doing our due diligence with the people that we're working with. Every time they raise the rate, if we can't get them closed within that guaranteed date, they're going to have to requalify, which 99% of the time they're now going to qualify for less, right? So no longer are we selling them a home for $900. We may only be selling them a home qualified up to $825 or $850. So, I don't like to give mortgage advice, but I like to push it on the people that are supposed to be working for them. Then, I had a conversation, Crystal, and everybody in attendance, with another realtor who was frustrated with some people in the mortgage industry. Everybody's different. But when you have pre-approvals with your clients, I would love to believe in a perfect world that the mortgage person was now getting those people back to the table again to say, we need to requalify you, rather than going, oh, you bought, you didn't know, you now don't qualify, or, so get a good feeling with your mortgage people and find out what they do to keep in touch with your clients that you're working with. The onus shouldn't fall on us to right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Are they following up? Are they making sure they're keeping them informed? Or if they, because it's, I'm sure, especially as things are switching as rapidly as they are, that it's not stuck at a certain rate. People are going to encounter this more and more and not even think about it.
Right. And that's an interesting thing. If we want to go off topic a little bit or stay on this topic, for everybody that's listening right now, what are some of the questions that you ask when you're talking to a mortgage rep? Because as realtors, we get asked all the time, can I sit? Can you give me your business? Everybody wants a piece of our pie, right? As a mortgage person. And I'm all for talking to new people. But I know exactly the questions that I ask. I know exactly if you wanted me to refer you, here's what I expect you to do with the people that I refer you. And I will be brutally honest, so far, I'm finding very few will say, yes, I have a follow-up program in place for this type of client, this type of client, this type of client. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the things that you guys ask? What's important to you with your mortgage person? Because this is what we need right now. We
Mm-hmm.
need to have mortgage people that are following up every time there's a rate increase.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing in the world as a realtor, do you guys agree, is to sell somebody something and to find out what they believe to be true in regards to their mortgage pre-approval is not true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, thoughts on that? That would be interesting.
I have a quiet group today.
We're all still turkey.
Oh yeah, everyone's just like slowly getting back into the swing of things. But has anyone in here encountered any situation so far personally with the clients that you're working with that they've encountered something where they had to then, scramble or make adjustments to make sure that the deal closed?
Well,
doesn't look like it. Yeah.
here's the deal.
They lost it. So Ava has, and they lost it.
Yeah. I think I know the deal she's talking about too. A lot of people will say, I get asked a lot, do you ask for a mortgage pre-approval ahead of time? I haven't made this big practice of doing that. However, what I do think is it's not a bad idea when we have the amount of rate changes that we're having. I also like to know who they're dealing with. I will ask them, what bank is it? What's your rep? We can't just call and find out information anymore with the Privacy Act.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Okay.
So Mary is saying, my broker did an approval. However, they did not buy within that time, and my broker did not reapprove them, and it was quite frustrating.
Oh, so Mary, could they not get pre-approved after, or did they just kind of not want to? Again, let's go back to this. I get really frustrated because, we can refer a lot of people. We get a lot of people that come to us, especially with agent locator leads, right? Not everybody is approved to buy right now, but that doesn't mean that they won't be in a year or two. Well, that's why we do drip campaigns, and we talk every time we're together about consistent follow-up. I'm all about trying to make sure that, they're getting their ducks in a row so they can buy. And so this is what's really important to me when I send somebody to my preferred mortgage person is they already know ahead of time, you want business from me. Then if my people are not qualified right now, I want to know exactly how many times are you going to be following up with them to make sure that they're staying in the process of working to get that done. Don't just, talk to them once and never hear from them again, because guess what? If you don't hold them accountable, am I supposed to?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
We're not allowed to give mortgage advice according to our code of ethics. We have to refer it to the people that do.
No,
all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Mary,
yeah,
they got approval for a lower amount. They had to be the one to remind the broker to reapprove them again.
Oh, this is so frustrating to me right now. So frustrating. Okay, and then Mohammed, do you want to read what Mohammed has said?
Yeah, Mohammed says it should be practice to ask your buyers for the pre-approval in writing. When the deal falls through, it reflects poorly on us agents, even though we are not at fault. The CYA, cover your ass, brand in this case.
And I love that, Mohammed. I think that to each their own. I'm a big believer in that. We can all operate our business as long as we're obeying our code of ethics. To each their own. There is no harm in asking for that pre-approval. Absolutely, keeping it on file. I definitely think in a lot of cases, it's a really good idea, especially if you start getting some red flags too. But worth it, and again, a lot of people, I just sent somebody to my mortgage person, and as I was on the phone, it was an agent locator lead. And so, she hadn't quite started the process, but, anyway, she was well on her way. So I said, okay, before we go out and see homes, let's get that number for you. But I knew right away in some of the things that she had talked about, she had a new business right away. She had got great child support and alimony. So she had income coming in, but also had a brand new cleaning business. So, we know kind of the triggers where I'm kind of like, okay, so we've got some income coming in, but, we all know that when it comes to child support, so forth, that's not a permanent thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? The bank always looks at it and goes, okay, well, that's really great for now, but what happens in 10 years or whatever?
Yeah.
And a new business, we know that you need to have established NOAs in order to qualify for a lot of the products. So I talked to her right away. I said, you know what? I'm going to send you over to Rich. He's going to do everything that he needs to do to see where you qualify, but don't be surprised if you get a co-signer, if he says you need a co-signer, because a lot of mortgage applications right now need that extra signature, that extra bump up. So, caution as well. If somebody says, oh gosh, you know what, I think I might need, or my mortgage person says I need a co-signer, you now have to re-qualify again. Stop the process because, if they're qualified, they tell you they're qualified for X on your own. But then their mortgage person is saying, no, you need a co-signer. All those parties have to re-qualify. So don't do anything, sit tight. No offers, no anything, no matter what they say. This is what I always say. Okay, you got to do that. That's great. When they let me know you're good, then we can go back out. It's so tricky. It's not fun.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
absolutely. Tracy's saying we say to our clients, it's important for pre-approval so you don't fall in love with a property emotionally that you can't financially afford. We've all had the champagne taste beer budget issue.
Yeah. Very true. Listen, we can't, and again, let's talk about this. I remember a few years ago, because pre-approvals have gotten more complicated over the years. So if we go back to 20 years ago, when we would say, are you pre-approved? Banks didn't need back then you to have a credit check done. It was all part. They would say, oh, okay, here's all your numbers. In fact, very few banks even asked back then for verification. So if you said you made X, a lot of them would give you pre-approval without seeing your T4. So then as realtors, we started to become more educated, knowing, okay, when somebody says they're pre-approved, we literally now have to say, has that been with your credit check done?
Yeah.
Because unless the lender has pulled the credit bureau, they're not fully pre-approved.
Yeah.
We like to say.
Sure.
So lots of things to always be aware of. It's to that. It's a tricky thing.
It is for sure. It is for sure. A lot of components, mechanisms for one portion, one portion of a very important portion of the transaction.
And here's the other thing. I'm hoping, like over the last couple of years with bidding wars, we started seeing numerous properties once again not appraising. That's always one of my biggest concerns when I'm sitting at a table with a seller, is educating them on the fact that do they understand what a bank appraisal means? Do they understand that now, no matter how much money you're putting down, banks will order appraisals? Because a seller does obviously want to list for a lot more money because their property is always the best on the street. And then it runs at a risk, right? So it's a very interesting time to be a realtor right now, especially with the changes that we're going through. And the mortgage people are not happy about these rate increases, because that does mean extra on our stress test as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Boy, there's a bunch of doom and gloom today, isn't it? Here, everybody else's experiences too with people that they're working with. I'm seeing a lot of response from agent locator leads in the last 2 weeks. I think, for those, once the rate hike happens again, I think you're going to see a lot of people pushing real quick to buy. So don't be surprised as you're doing your drip campaigns and you're reaching out to people, if you kind of get this before Christmas push, because quite simply, I do think you're going to see a lot of these people just not qualify for what they need in their next move, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of people communicating with me again. Sometimes I'll go for a week where it's a little bit slow, and then boom, it's crazy. And I always notice this as we're getting towards a rate increase, where I think they're getting a little panicky. Maybe yeah,
that definitely makes sense. Or they don't want to have to wait even longer, right? Because those increases. Now we got to wait for it to come down again.
Yeah. So we're thinking about doing here in the brokerage. I'm training as a group and one-on-one the people that are on our lead system, and I'm back to training a couple of our larger teams because they're redoing their agent locator lead strategies. All kinds of that stuff. It's that time of year, right?
Yeah, we have a little bit.
22. It's all about. And so I'm really starting to, and I talked about this, Ava and Tracy will hopefully remember the last time that we all got together to talk about the leads is this a time right now that we maybe talk to our mortgage person, whoever our referral partner is, and say, why don't we host a Zoom chat for our agent locator leads where we send out an invitation, maybe it's through Eventbrite, maybe it's just whatever. You have questions about the mortgage industry. Why don't we, for 30 minutes, everybody can ask their question and you have your preferred mortgage partner with you. I think that's a great way to touch your leads, right? Yeah. Where you're taking the heat off yourself because, I don't mind talking about mortgage stuff here with you guys, but I'm certainly by no means going to give advice to my clients that way. Yeah. But what a great way to tie your leads in to see that you are the person, right? You're the go-to person. And I think it's something that we're going to do. I haven't done it yet, but I have started the plan in motion.
Yeah. I always suggest that, in situations, even when you're trying to stir that pot of all the database in there, is what could you be offering to engage them, to pique their interest, or where you find a lot of them are struggling, or kind of where they're sitting on the fence because they can't take the step one way or another, or they're not sure where to begin. Right. And it's overwhelming for a lot of people, right? Moving and the whole process of it is overwhelming. So a lot of people just stop because they're just like, it's too much. I don't want to deal with it. We're fine for now, until they're forced into something. So offering them those resources at an earlier time where they can ask those questions and, they might actually end up transacting sooner than they anticipated because now they have answers. Gives them that little bit of momentum to start moving forward. Yeah. It's on my to-do list. I was thinking if I'm going to do it any month, probably end of October, beginning of November is it. I'm always looking for ways when it comes to my leads to just re-emphasize that for real estate, Tara Baylis is the name they're going to think of. And I think going forward, because I think most people, as we know, as realtors, don't even think they could qualify, right? Yeah. A lot of people still feel that owning real estate is completely out of their realm. What a better way just to do, we do this bi-weekly. How hard would it be to send out an invite and say, okay, from 3 to 4 p.m., we're going to answer your questions. Worst case scenario, nobody shows up, but what if 30 people did? Yeah. I mean, come on. So I'd love to see, if other people are thinking that might work for their leads. I think I really do. And I'd like to try it. Maybe I'll try it and then have somebody film it. Yeah. Yeah. We can put it on here. Yeah. And because you can make those meetings like Zooms here, you can make it so the people watching or joining the Zoom can't see the attendance, right? So they don't know whether other people are on there or not. So you can still go on full on, have like an interview with somebody. Maybe you already have some questions that are commonly asked questions, right? And then kind of go created as if someone's asking those questions, and then that way, if someone hops on, it appears as though you have a full functioning webinar, going on. But then, those who missed it, you can send them the replay, right? So here's the replay. Here's what you missed, right? If there's any questions.
Way to touch your people. I mean, to me, we have to kind of step ourselves outside the box. That's why we work on the drip campaigns. That's why we do touches. But I think that that would be a phenomenal way to reach people. We're down into the charity portion of the year. Christmas is coming. So I know here we're already talking about our food drive that we do,
Yeah. I know, right?
So one of the best emails that I did in regards to immediate response was when we were entering COVID, and I sent out what I just have my own terms for what I sent out. I called it the COVID email, where it was basically just a check-in for all of my leads. It was a mass email. And at the end of it, it was not about real estate at all. I just, kind of worded it that, I think we're all confused about what's going on in the world. You've been so gracious to come on my site every day. I wanted to take an opportunity to make sure all of you are okay. And then in the email, I just took a step back and I said, I work with a lot of preferred partners. If anybody needs groceries, if anybody needs anything and you can't get out, let me know and I'll make sure that we have what you need delivered to your doorstep. At the end of the email, I said, I'm more than just a realtor. So the response for that email at that time was, it literally gives me chills thinking about it. The people that responded, and they were so grateful to hear from me in just another way, because they don't know how real we are.
Yeah, no, exactly, right?
You're getting emails, oh my gosh, she wants to sell me a house. A lot of people are going to think that way. So I look at this and I go, okay, well, we're kind of getting back into that time of year again. And maybe that's another thing that you guys might want to think about touching your leads with. What charities are you involved in? I don't ask for money. I don't agree with that, but I certainly say currently I'm involved with helping some families in need. If you know anybody in need, please don't hesitate to let me know, right? Those are touches that I think you could also be thinking about doing based on some different charities that you're working with. So I always draw that line, Crystal, where I'm not asking them for donations. I don't want to be that person. I just want to give the info. Say, let me know if you want to know further.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, because sometimes it is just, there's a lot of individuals out there. There's so many different ways you can offer charity really at this day and age, but especially around the holiday season, a lot of people adopt families, right? So they adopt a family and then they buy the gift. They know exactly, the age group of the individuals, but just letting people know that you're doing these things. And if there is somebody that they think of that would benefit, or maybe is struggling, we want to step in and make their holiday season just that much brighter. Right. So, and again, you're not asking them for anything. You're just letting them know what they do. And I think that definitely has a positive, view from the lead or the person, your clients, past clients, whoever you're sending it to, right? That you actually care. You're not just about making money.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes, like when I start making my calls, and I've said this a lot, because your name is going in their inbox so many times, once a day for listings. And then, for those that are doing the email drip campaign, another soft touch, maybe once a week, a lot of these people, and we fail to realize this. And sometimes I have to remind myself too, they feel like they know you. We forget that. And if you kind of put yourself in their shoes, if you're getting an email every single day from somebody, your mind actually does automatically connect with that person, whether you've met them or not.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes when I've done these extra little touches, the warm and fuzzy, in regards to world events, in regards to charity and so forth, they receive it a little better. they don't get their backs up because they already feel they know me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
So I'd like to see people, if we could work on that. If you're kind of thinking about running some emails by, again, submit them to Crystal. Better to go through Crystal than to email me, because to say I get hundreds a day would be so if they send them to you, then you can send them to me. We can kind of refine them. But fine. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to get in there. We want to show that we're real people on top of being those amazing realtors that we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You got to start your game plan now, because you can't think of it when you should be actioning it. You've got to get it ready. So you can just go click, then we're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you noticing now on the inside end? Mm-hmm. Are Google searches back up again? What are the stats that way, Crystal?
I would have to ask Sunny, but definitely they have slowed. I noticed there's some campaigns where I'll be like, is everything okay? Like there hasn't been, he's like, nope, it's fine. It's just, that area. So a lot of it is reflective on areas, of course. Naturally, right? Yeah. So different, urban areas or more rural areas or whatever it might be, the switching has definitely, it kind of staggers. It does, every time there's a rate increase, it does naturally draw back a bit, because people just are like, okay, well, now is not the time, right? So it's always changing. I'm finding that a lot of the interactions, and I'm sure many people in here, is a lot of people holding off. And I get a lot of frustration from our clients because no one wants to move right now. But again, it's not what you're doing today that's going to get you the money today. It's what you're doing today that's going to be where you're at in, the 60, the 90, 120 days from now. So you're working on your 2023 transactions right now. Anything prior to that is really just icing on the cake. That's just like, boom, yes, right? Because a lot of individuals will hold off. But again, like as you said, as they start to know of rate increase coming, some of those people that are already in your system start to get those wheels moving a little bit again as well, if they don't want to hold off.
Exactly. So. Exactly. Remember when we're talking about these leads, it's so easy to get caught up in, I'm not getting anything. And that's where, and if I'm boring you, tell me, but that's where I can't stress enough. The mindset is just as important as the touches that we do. Mm-hmm. When we were, oh gosh, was it the last time we were together? No, I think I was coaching somebody last week. See the Alzheimer's, Crystal, I'm telling you. I have.
It's because you talk to so many people. That's why you're like, when did this happen?
What is happening? But we were talking, and the REM magazine had just come out about what are the 3 things that realtors do wrong when trying to convert leads. And it was interesting because it came out, it was last Sunday it came out. And not this weekend, but the weekend before. And it actually went through about doing over touches, where people start to get very angry because you're touching them too much. So, and they gave some scenarios. If you guys don't have it, let me know. And I always save them in my email. But it was really interesting to hear what this realtor's take was and his experience. So over touching. Some people will, like I've got the drip campaign. We know they get set up to get listings. We know the listings are the number one thing. Mm-hmm. That is the number one thing they have to get from us is new listings, right? So we know the drip campaign is always important, but then when you start adding a call every day, right? Yeah. Now, and that's the scenario he gave. Now you're starting to piss off the people. You're putting too much pressure on to convert them. Is that maybe where your hunger is getting in? Because we want them to get to the table sooner than later. So he talked about the fact that the best conversions, and it honestly was like I was reliving some of our sessions, some of Beverly's sessions, are take a step back, right? Create the perfect plan where you've got the listings every day. That's a no-brainer. Right? The gentle touches, and then here's a phone call, and here's a phone call, right? So it's working in its own pillar, its own system. And that's where I think that for a lot of us, we have to always be revising what we're doing based on the times, right? And based on what we're getting the reaction. If we're getting a negative reaction, take a step back, do a call at a different day or time, right? Because you don't want to do the overtouches. So mindset always is really important. And I always never forget, Crystal, what do I always say? This is not our show. This is the show. This is not up to us to tell the lead, okay, I need you to buy a house today. This is about showing the lead that when you're ready to buy that house, whether it's tomorrow, 6 months, or 2 years, you're going to remember Tara Baylis, because I'm not going anywhere. Once you do that, you'll start to see everything kind of flows back into a better flow because you're taking the pressure off yourself. Imagine opening up Agent Locator every day and going, I got to get a sale. I got to get a sale. I got to get a sale. Right? How hard is that on you? Imagine opening up Agent Locator and going, I just want to let these people know that I'm here when the time is right for them. And that is the difference in conversion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's and especially if you're getting in there anxious all the time and frustrated, every time you pick up the phone and talk to somebody, you sound anxious and frustrated, whether you think you do or don't. You might come across as a little bit more pushy than you normally would, right? Trying to get somebody to do something, but that's the anxiousness of, I need you to move this process through a lot faster than we're going right now. And we don't realize obviously our intentions probably aren't there to do that, right? But it just ends up happening. And, I had one client from the past, and that was his personality to a T. Like, he was looking for instant results, and was frustrated the fact that a lot of these people weren't looking to buy right now or looking to move right now. Oh, they're whatever. I'm like, yes, that's very normal that people aren't ready to just go look at houses this weekend. They need to save more for a down payment, or they need, whatever it might be. It's your job to educate them and guide them through that process and offer the value and the resources to get them across that finish line. And a lot of people, they just want that quick and easy, wouldn't we all, right? But it's not always the case, right? Sometimes it is. Sometimes you get that lead in, they've been pre-approved, they're good to go, they're ready to look at houses. It happens, 100% it happens. Most of your leads are not like that, right? So
I mean, listen, look at use ourselves as a perfect example. When I'm looking to buy a house, I know when I want to do it, I go in, but I certainly don't make anybody any guarantees that that's going to be, I don't say to my mortgage person, okay, I'm going to do this so you can get paid. This is my show. Remember what I always say as well with the leads, it's not about the lead as well. It's about who the lead knows. So these Agent Locator leads have referred me multiple times to people that they know, friends and family. I have done so many deals by just strictly their referrals and still never met the actual lead. Well, that's why I always keep that open mind. I always take that pressure off of myself that I've got to convert one of these people, where when I open it up, I literally get so much joy every time a lead comes on my phone and every time I open up my dashboard, because I know these people are just, there's hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars of business in there. And it's my job to say, okay, when the time is right, you're going to remember Tara, right? So I love it. I view every single lead that comes to my phone as somebody picking up the phone and saying to me, hey, Tara, my name is Joe. Can you send me some new listings in Mississauga up to 950,000? Every time my phone goes off, I'm like, it's just the same as somebody contacting me and saying, I need your help. And that's where once I started really thinking that way when it came to lead conversion, then I started noticing that people were replying, right? People were communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I just do what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We got a question here, which I imagine is very common for many of you in here. And Jacqueline's asking, what do you do when a lead fills out the form, has a realtor? Every lead in October says has a realtor.
Well, like the get in touch form or the?
Well, there's the form. So on the website now, you can have a pop-up, right? The pop-up has like those questions that they can answer, and they're filling out that they have a realtor.
Okay, so I haven't started that yet, Crystal, because you know me. You know, I just stick with what I have, although I did have lunch with a beautiful realtor who comes on here on Thursday. She started using those question forms. So she showed it to me on her phone. I was really impressed. Austin Baylis is on here right now. Please remember that I want to do that. So this is what I would do. I think it's easy for them to say they have a realtor. What do we all say? Buyers are liars. So I would still send them, I would still communicate with them, and I would let them know that I understand they have a realtor. I probably would then ask, are you under contract with that realtor? I think that's a very fair question. If they reply back to me, yes, I am under contract. I still keep them on my system. I do. But I always reply back, if anything changes, please know that I will be here. So that's what I do. I don't go after them to try to get them out to see homes, but I do that. I have had, just so you know, go through open houses. People say they have a realtor. I have had multiple people tell me they've had realtors and they were just liars. So, and they said, no, you know, Tara, we were lying to you. So do what you can, but use caution.
It is. Yeah. I always find that, it's easy for them because they think that by answering it that way, you're not going to communicate with them. Right. So again, it kind of goes into the, we're just looking, even though they have intention. So what I have suggested to others is, again, just have that conversation with them, because everyone's definition of having a realtor could be very different. And it could be just they're signed up on somebody else's website and getting listings from them, right? So they consider that I have a realtor. Or they have friends, so family friends that I know are realtors. So I have a realtor. But again, they're not under contract with that individual, right? They just know that realtor. So again, I think even having those conversations, because sometimes if you're talking to them and you're even a simple roundabout way of kind of finding out is, have you gone to check out any houses yet, or you just primarily been looking online so far?
Perfect.
If they've gone out to look at houses, that's where you would dig a little bit deeper, right? But if they've only been looking online so far, then the chances of them actually working, under contract with somebody is very slim at that moment. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity just to continue the conversation and then go with what your gut tells you to, right?
Yeah.
But I certainly wouldn't. I don't like to use the word waste a lot of time, because I feel like it's our job to have a lot of time with people. But I certainly don't want to be going out if somebody's under contract with someone, because I refuse to break.
Oh gosh, no. No. It's like, I would say don't break any rules here, right? But sometimes you can have those conversations, and a lot of people have intentions on maybe using somebody. But again, you have that opportunity to earn and win their business just by your actions and checking in every now and then, making sure the listings are still good. There's nothing that you could do to help facilitate, or, resources or information you can gather for them, right? So you still have that opportunity to earn some of that business. And again, you can get a referral from that. It's like, well, I've already got a realtor, but this person, she's great. My friend Sally's looking for a house, right? So again, you never know where that referral is coming from.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question.
It is, because a lot of individuals counter it. And so that's even that roundabout way of asking if somebody has a realtor, have you gone to look at any houses, or are you just primarily looking online, is an indirect way of asking if they're working with somebody, rather than just bluntly saying, do you have an agent? Because a lot of the times you're going to hear yes when they don't actually have
We probably would do the same thing too. If the table.
We do it's
right?
exactly. It's the
Realtors.
fastest way to get you off the phone, right? It's the fastest way to get you off the phone. It's when somebody's looking for money for me, I just lost my job. Yeah. That's how if I got air duct cleaning calls, I'm a renter. I don't pay for that. Like we have the different excuses just to get somebody
we're all guilty.
talking to me. Right. So you got to remember that they've, these buyers and sellers out there, they've also got their own tactics to make it, so they're not feeling they're going to be pressured into something they're not quite ready for. But again, once you continue to talk to those individuals and they recognize that you're not here to push them into anything that they're not ready for, they're actually a lot more open to talking to, and you learn a lot more about them because they know that you're not after just the transaction at that point. Right.
Sorry if people walking behind me. This is great. Do you think, Crystal, I mean, in the perfect world, we wanted to release the drip campaign that we did. Do you think that we should maybe fine tune it, add a couple of texts, and then maybe start to release it to everybody? Because
absolutely.
I've been talking about it for so long, and I think really now is the time for those that started a drip campaign, really to now say, okay, let's rock and roll with what we have. We can always add to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we should add to it. But I think we should start to fine tune it, release it. And then what I'd love for you guys to do is to get it into your systems and start assigning it to all of your new leads and all of your past leads.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's some pretty great stuff in there.
Yeah. And you guys, and really a lot of you have campaigns already set up that are going on. Those are the SMS campaigns, right? So, and what I'll do is naturally I'll put a video so walking you guys through the creation of it. So you're actually building it in your system, but giving the two alternates. One is just building this campaign on its own, or two, taking your current campaign that's being utilized and adding these components into it to extend, and offer different things throughout that campaign as well.
That's the perfect scenario, right? Now,
everyone's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody wants between now and 2 weeks, because I still need to add a little bit of the SMSs through, wants to send a thought on an email. We talked a little bit about fundraising ones, Christmas time. Do it now so that we can incorporate it in. Right? Yeah. I think it's time to launch it. And then I think maybe every couple of months, Crystal, what we should do is take it again and now add a few more, right?
Exactly. And kind of taking a look at what's in there and what might need to be tweaked based on the current situation that's happening.
Yeah. It's the key. And that's, to remind everybody, that's what I rely. Most of my conversion is based on my drip campaign along with my listings. And then what I call my warm and fuzzy emails, like my 3 times email. I'm meeting another buyer tomorrow out of town based on a lead. He'd only been in the system for about 20 days. I noticed that he liked a property 3 times. I emailed him I call it my liked 3 times email. And he replied right away. He texted me and said, yep, we're good. I want to see that house. So, that email on its own got him in the car quicker than my drip did. Because you just never, but this is what I say. This is what I say to all of our new agents. This is what I say. If you don't do it, they won't get in the car at all. It took me 2 seconds, when I'm getting on the couch at night to go, okay, who's 3 times? I do it all from my phone. And that one particular night, 2 of my buyers that hadn't responded to my drip, 2 of my buyers said, yes, we definitely want to see those houses. So do that as well. Right? It's more work than it actually is. That's what I think can stop us. Yeah.
It's, and it's great because again, you guys can see the listings in the back that they have liked or viewed multiple times, and you can send those emails even with the listing. So if you notice one that they looked at multiple times or liked in the system, you can write a personalized note, right? And play around, save, copy and save what you wrote, because you can start to watch and use different wording to see how your interaction is working. Like what are you communicating that's getting a better response when you're reaching out to your lead with respect to their viewing behaviors? Some people are ready to go look at houses, and some people just, it could be that, you know what, would you like to receive more listings just like this one, right? Some aren't ready to go look at houses yet, but yeah, they would benefit from being able to see or receive more listings that are very similar to the one that they favorited.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But then you can, it also encourages the conversation as well. Right. Okay. So tell me exactly what that is. Right.
We've already paid for the lead.
Yeah.
We've already paid. So I'm going to do everything I can very softly, very gently to continue to show these people that I'm here, which is why, you know, when I get home at the end of my day, my liked 3 times emails that I like to do, because you have to do them manually. I do once I get on the couch, because I just do it all from my phone. I go through and then I send. That's just my gig. But every time I do, I usually have a response, and it's mind blowing to me. And then I sit back and I say this: I have nothing to lose, but I have everything to gain. I've already paid for the lead. So, you know, number one. Number two, some people will respond to a certain email. I wish I had all the rhyme or reason to it, you know, where they're not responding to the drip yet.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then it could be that particular house that they've actually liked 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, you know,
exactly.
Also the house, right? The house. So I just say this to myself: if I'm going to be buying this system, when I was on a team and my team leader bought this system, I had so much respect for what the team leader was paying for that I would never drop the ball. You know, once I invested my own money and I started paying, I have so much respect for what I'm paying for that I'm not going to drop the ball. And that's what keeps me always making sure that this pillar of my business, my leads, are being worked the way that I have laid it out. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Kate was asking, does it automatically let you know when they liked a property? Yes. So a lot of you, that alert is going to be on. There may be some of you that it's not on. So I've posted in the chat there the instructions on how to go and access the lead alert so that you can configure those and get alerted. And you choose how you get alerted as well. So whether you want an email, a text, or an email and a text. And there's different options as well. So it's not just if they like the listing, but also if they viewed a listing 3 or more times. You can even do it so every time they come online again, you get a notification if you want to.
I love it.
And then naturally, after 30 days of a lead being inactive and then all of a sudden coming back on again, you will get alerted as well on that behavior. So a lot of different things. Again, you got to utilize it, because a lot of people get those. They don't actually action it, and then it just becomes spam on their phone or their email or whatever. They start ignoring those notifications and not, you know, and there could be some important ones in there that actually, you know, are beneficial for you to actually look into.
Yeah, for sure. I depend on those notifications as much as I depend on my email drip campaign. They are part of my way that I work my leads. I review those re-login notifications, all the notifications, usually every half hour. I simply scroll through and watch them come back on, re-log back on, like 3 times, because it gets me more invested in what I'm spending. Gets me more invested in those people. So when I've coached people and I've said, do you have your re-logins turned on, your notifications? And they say no. You know, of course, I got heart palpitations happening right away. But, you know, you used to have to go to Agent Locator to turn them on. Now I figured out how to do it myself. Hey, I'm a big girl now. Once people start saying, yes, I want all those notifications, it actually changed, Crystal, their mindset on their leads and the leads activity, because now they're seeing them come back on again and again and looking.
For sure.
It remotivated them, going, oh, wait, they are coming on my system.
Yes.
And I think that is a mistake that a lot of people do. So I think if you're going to be doing these leads, make sure those notifications are all turned on. They can be a bit of a nuisance because they always come back in, but look at it in the mindset that those people are seeing your name. That's how you get them as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Jody is just asking, can we be helped with conversion emails or scripts? We are working on a drip campaign to get those leads interacting through email, essentially. I did just post the link for the Google Doc again in the chat. So that is so you can kind of view where we're at so far. There are the original and the edited version in there, except for the very last one. And this is what we're going to be building off of. Obviously, not in this order. They're just kind of thrown in there, but taking those emails and utilizing them to build a campaign. Yeah. And so again, if you guys have any anything you want to contribute to the campaign, or maybe even an email that you've utilized that seems to generate a decent amount of response, throw it over. We'd be happy to incorporate it. Again, it's going to be shared across everyone that's part of these webinars to be able to utilize and leverage. But again, we can also kind of turn back and discuss how everyone's success is with that campaign, right? Because the responsiveness of our leads may differ from region to region, for all we know, right? So different areas might, this email works really well in my area, but it doesn't work really well in, so-and-so's area, right? Sure. So it's everyone's different. People are different.
And that's the beautiful thing. They can tweak it, right? So maybe there's, depending on the area you're in, you might want to change a few sentences, but the gist of the email can remain the same. So what we need to do, just clarifying, what we need to do here is I still need to add a couple of SMSs throughout. We're also going to add a couple of tasks for you guys so that you're going to put it in as a task. So the task is going to remind you to go back in and check on Bob. Do you maybe need to make a phone call? And maybe we'll add as well a phone call throughout it too. So I think this is a great thing that if you don't already have an email drip campaign, it can be the one that you use until you build on it. Yeah. Or like you said, if you already have one, we can now do a continue. Yeah, with this. Exactly. It really is a phenomenal. There's some really great emails in this campaign that I was really impressed with. Yeah. So there we go.
Perfect. So yeah, you guys can, it's just crystal@agentlocator.ca. It's also attached to the Zoom link, the recording that you get as well, or even just reach out to support and just say, hey, this is for Crystal. Then they'll send it over to me. One or the other. But yeah, the more we can get, the better it'll be without us having to. It's all about you guys and your leads, right? And collaborating as a team to get a good, good campaign that's effective for everyone. Yeah. Awesome.
It's going to be great. I'm excited. I'm excited to have the finished product. And what I just feel like it can be used as it is right now, but we need those emails. If you guys think of anything else between now and the next webinar, then we can quickly add them in and start it.
Gotcha.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, as always, thanks, Tara, for your time and everyone who jumped on today. And we will see you all again in a couple of weeks. Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.